Alright guys, got a 15-minute game against a 900 players, rated 901. So what are we going to do? I'm going to play the French defence. Just had a game, I tried to make you a video with a player rated 880 and he absolutely wiped the floor with me, and with an accuracy of like 92. So I've had to report that guy. Okay, so we've got knight out here in the French. Normal move c5. So this guy's rated 901. So I'm going to try and point out the tactical ideas as we go. I am playing exceedingly badly today. There you go. So I might as well take this pawn. I'm capturing a centre pawn with a wing pawn. If knight retakes, he's moved that piece twice now. I'm behind in development. If I capture this pawn, actually that knight's pinned, and then I've got this, yeah? So if I take, knight takes, push e5, he can't move the knight with check, so which would be the only way of, protecting the knight. So now this is called attacking the pinned piece. This piece is pinned to the queen. Actually, it's not. It's only the queen, isn't it? So, see how the old brain's just not working too well today. However, if I do get to capture his queen, the king must recapture because he's in check. There's no other moves, and then white's lost the ability to castle in the game. So one imbalance here is we've got a 4 and a 2 of pawns against my opponent's 3 and 3. So he has nothing in the centre. Okay, it's interesting. He's come out with check. So let's say knight here. I can block with a bishop. Then I'm attacking two pieces, and that bishop, so if I block with the bishop, takes, queen takes, I think that's okay. I don't really like that, because if knight... Okay, now I can take with the queen and the pin is still on. He's got two checks with the knight, but either way I just capture the knight. So this knight is still... It needs to move, really. And it can't move to any square where it can recapture the queen. So I think, hopefully, we're either going to win the knight or we're going to prevent my opponent from castling. Both useful objectives. So he's having to think. He should probably just move his knight back here, something like that. He can't go there because I'll take it, can't go there because I'll take it, or there or there. Also, observe this pattern as well. When you've got a knight here and then you've got a queen or a bishop in line with the knight but 3 squares away, that queen or the bishop actually covers half of the knight's potential squares. So the knight can't move towards that piece without potentially being captured. Okay, so he's moved back and now I'm going to swap off queens. Okay. Now I need to develop. I can't put my knight there, it'll mess my pawns up very badly. Got ideas of this knight. I think that knight out looks good. Might even castle short to get my rook in the game quicker. It's an idea. Material is equal. One big difference is he's not castling, and by the same token these rooks are going to struggle to get involved, so he needs to get a crack on with that, really. Even ideas are like pushing f5 to kind of consolidate my advantage in the centre here. I've even got rook across. Rook across looks kind of good. And then think about castling that way. Okay, what's undefended? That's defended by the knight. That's all okay. So we've got one undefended pawn, and I've got nothing in the vicinity. There are No units in the neighbourhood. So he's stopping my bishop from going there. I think that's his cunning plan. I could just bring my bishop out here, knight to there, castle. Knight to here, then if knight takes, bishop takes. We've both got dark squared bishops. This is the big question. Do I want to advance my pawns and try and gain the centre, or and then which would mean castling queenside this way, which is actually long. I think I said short before. So actually I can castle there and it comes with check immediately, doesn't it? Let's do that just for fun. So if king moves across now, I've got ideas of knight in here, attacking that pawn. Also liking now, f5's looking good. Okay, so he's gone for the block, which I get. But what he has also done is he's pinned his own bishop there. So now I'm thinking f5 looks like a no-brainer. Knight can't really advance to any of these three. Can go here. Then I can double his pawns, double and isolate his pawns on the c file if I want to give up my bishop. Yep. So that's a question now. Now we can actually get to here as well. Which would upset my rook. I'm going to let's snatch the knight off. And I've got double pawns there. The king's relatively safe. Let's develop the other knight now. Okay, this bishop's also pinned. Okay, well that's not much of an issue. Bishop's pinned, so let's attack the pinned piece, right? Knight to here. The bishop can't move. And also, white cannot bring another defender. There's no other defender that can come to the aid of that bishop to protect it. It's defended once by the king, therefore the bishop, I think, has to fall. And now I'm also looking at f2. Okay. Take the bishop and attack the rook. Capture the rook. If he wants to trade rooks, that's fine by me. I'm also now looking at this pawn. So his position's now falling apart. And unfortunately. Right. Now it's just time to clean up, really. So if I play rook to d2, knight moves, I can grab pawns. He doesn't have enough material now actually to win the game unless he can promote a pawn. So my job now is to do everything I can to prevent him from promoting a pawn. Rook's now defending that pawn. Might push, build a bit of a pawn chain here. Let's defend this pawn first. There's no point giving up my own pawns. Need to be mean and horrible now. Okay, now I can grab the pawn. Now this pawn's not savable. Okay, let's grab that, and then the knight has to come to here. Alright. And now I think it's just a case of promotion. I think it's the quickest way to finish this off. Alright. Okay, so he's got a check. I'm just going to move my king up. Then he can check there. That's okay. I think my king's going to be happier up in the middle of the board anyway. So check here. The knight can't check me from this position. And he can't capture that pawn. And he's now taken his focus off this. So what's he want to do? Throw in another check. That's fine. Don't mind you doing that. Every time you do that, it's going to take him 2 more moves to get in a checking position. You might go there and attack this pawn, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be too late. Okay, let's go there. He's got another check. And again, I'll just move back to here. Alright. So now we need to disturb the knight. So here, attacks the knight. You might actually play that. Okay. Right, this is actually pinning the knight now. So the knight's pinned on the king. Knight can't move. So it's going to be game over very shortly. Okay, win by resignation. There you go, nice quick game. Let's briefly review. Where did my opponent go wrong in this? Okay, so we're going to review it. Not going to use the engine. So that's a normal French setup. Takes. Okay. And now attacking the pinned piece. So, I mean, could he have spotted that? Takes. I mean, I saw this as a tactic. Attacking the pinned piece. Now he comes in with check. And we have a swap off. Okay, so he saves the knight, loses castling rights. Okay, that's going to set him back in development. Now he's pushing pawns. What he should be doing is develop this bishop, just get it into the board, and try and castle then by hand, manually. Don't think these pawn pushes are working in his favour. Plus he's putting his pawns onto dark squares and he's got a dark squared bishop. So this is just taking options away from him. Okay, so now I castle with check, gaining some initiative there. Now the pawn push, choose to swap off because I feel like I've just got the edge. I mean, material is actually equal at this point, but you know, my instinct is telling me that I've got the edge. Now this knight comes in. Pointless rook move, and the king is still there. The king is still in the middle of the board with a pinned bishop in front of it, and he walks now into this. And this, I think, is probably the most obvious tactic that he should have been able to spot. He needed to get his king out of line of that rook, and then get both of these guys into the game, because without that he's just too short of material. And this is now the collapse, you know, and he makes that move, I think, too quickly. So he doesn't spot that his own rook is threatened, so he kind of, attacks the knight, but whatever this knight does, he's looking at a rook that's defended twice, 3 times anyway. So yeah, so he blunders the piece and then swaps off his other rook, which is not good. When you're that far down on material, don't leave yourself with just the king and the knight, because how are you going to win a game with just the king and a knight when your opponent's got a rook on the board? No, you need to maintain as much firepower as you can. Okay, and then the rest of the game obviously finished pretty straightforward. Now, and then I think finally this was, I mean, but you have to say, what can he do other than try and block the pawn's progress? So yeah, some fairly basic tactics in that, and obviously that's what chess is all about, right? It's about tactics upon tactics upon tactics as you get stronger. So yeah, hope you got a few tips and hints out of that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.